WIFTBPN. WIFTBPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown their ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
Yeah. What's going on? This is Instructor Mike with Triggered. I'm your host, Instructor Mike. If you're watching on YouTube, go on and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're watching on Facebook, go on ahead and like the Maze Jackson page, along with hitting those stars. Those stars help support great content on this show. All right, so yep, we're going to do a little bit of a continuation from this show we had Tuesday, where we were talking about, the whole situation that went down in Philadelphia with Walter, I give his name wrong, Walter Wallace, who was shot by police. We're going to go on ahead and talk about that too. And we're going to talk about some solutions because, it tends to be the same narrative over and over and over again. So this isn't going to be one of those is it justified shows. I'm tired of talking about that because, I think if you follow me enough, you already probably know what I think about the given situation, okay? But we are going to talk about the solutions. So what do you think some solutions should be? What do you think? Okay. I invite you to come on in to the conversation in the comments section and stuff like that because I am reading that stuff. But what do you think some solutions should be? Okay. For those of you all who are not abreast of the situation, I'm going to go on ahead and just pull it up and we'll talk about that. This is a situation where, let me see if I still got the video here. I should still have it. Okay. Well, in this given situation, you have police that responded to a domestic situation. We don't know who the parties were in this given situation. And I happened to watch the press conference between the Philadelphia mayor, the commissioner of police, the deputy commissioner of police, commissioner of the fire department, and the public safety director, stuff like that. Shouts out to Herb Howard and Tucson Warner. I said what I said. Make sure that you watch them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 3, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. So what do you think some solutions would be? Now, this is a domestic situation that got out of control and the police were called. Apparently, William, I keep giving him Walter Wallace. I gave him so many different names. Walter Wallace was a person who had autism. And so that's one of the things that tended to be the focus of the conversation between the government officials, the police, and the media is the police department going to be getting more training, getting more programs, getting more things where they can be able to address persons with mental illness? Now, while that is something that I believe that should happen, right? They should have that. Some departments do. Some departments have already rolled out programs that allow officers or teach officers to address persons with mental illnesses because, like I said before, in the abstract, it's not enough to just say you need to submit to the police and listen to what they say. That also requires the ability to be able to comprehend. It also requires the ability to be able to understand and perform the given task that you're asked to perform. But in spite of that, or until that actually occurs, what should we do? This was not an on-view situation. This was not a situation where the police just happened to see the fight and then just decided to do something about it. This was a call for service, for the police to respond to that address. Okay. You've seen the video on Facebook, on social media. You're able to research that video. Just Google Philadelphia police shooting. It was the latest one that just happened. What are some solutions? Here's my solution. I have a belief that the law should be changed. In every state, what's going on? Shouts out to Rob and Patrice. What's going on? You're not late for class. You're here. But I believe that the solutions should be change the mandate for police to respond and what they should do when they get there. What do I mean by that? Chapter 725, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 5, Section 107-16. Look it up. That is the statute in Illinois. Now, every state has a similar statute, but that statute specifically states it is the duty of police to respond, and when they respond and when a person commits a crime, to bring them before the judge so that they can be, tried whatever for whatever crime they've committed. And of course, I'm paraphrasing the law. But in them responding, it mandates that if a crime has been committed, that they are to take this person to custody forthwith without any unnecessary delay. It is the duty. So if it's the duty, it limits the options to walk away. If it's a duty, I have to, by law, not just call the police, but when they get there, do something. And so if if your employer tells you you have a duty to do something, that means if you deviate from that, you can be punished for it. So here's a solution that I think needs to happen. You've heard these things before. You've heard people say police officers should get licensed. At present, police officers are not licensed. They are certified. Even now, I maintain my certification as a former police officer. I wouldn't have to attend the academy again. I just have to go through a certain class to make sure that I'm aware of the law, which I am. I teach it every day. And then right back to being a police if I chose. I don't want that life anymore. Okay. But I'm making a better difference now, and then I would lose a great percentage of my ability to express my opinion because I'm an agent of the government now. So I can't express my opinion because it becomes the opinions of that department, and that department isn't going to uphold it. Right. So I'm like where I'm at now. But if we're talking about solutions, right, you get the same rinse and repeat. A situation happens, the police respond or they see it. It results in some of these situations, and most of them, it doesn't result in a situation where a person is killed. That's what the media isn't going to show you, because who wants to know about that, even though it's the truth. But if it's a situation where the player or the person is a white person and the person being, confronted by the police is a black person, that's ratings. That's going to drive it up, because we know these black folks rule by emotion, and they're just going to go ahead and dive in head first and start to talk about, what the police should do. Okay, you get it. You got the shots, you got the media coverage. Then now we've got rioting and protesting, or a mixture of the two. Then after everything settles, then it's back to no solution town. So here's the solution. 1, change the certification to licensure. Let's get these police officers licensed. I'll tell you this: if they change it, I'll go back on the job. Get me a license, because I'm going to tell you how it works with licensed professionals, right? With licensed professionals, we have to get insurance. We do, right? Matter of fact, that's a part of that. In fact, you can't even get the license until you have the insurance. So we got to get the liability insurance, and it doesn't cost that much in essence. It doesn't. Well, it depends on what you're doing, but it doesn't cost that much. But now you're talking about the use of firearms. It's definitely going to be costly. So I'll go on ahead and, get a percentage out of my paycheck taken out of that for that insurance. Right. That's what people want. So that way, each individual officer's policy, if they are involved, doesn't necessarily fall on the government per se, even though the government is extracting the monthly payments or the biweekly payments out that officer's check. Right. Let's get licensed and let's get insured. Okay. And then change the statutory mandate. See, y'all so busy worried about President Trump. President Trump doesn't control the local government and the state laws that affect what law enforcement does. You focusing on the wrong folks. Whether it's Trump or Biden, if it's shitty where you at, it's going to still be shitty where you at, because the state reps and the state senators, they are the ones that make the laws that control the state law enforcement training agency, which is an executive agency under the governor in every state. They are the ones who control the curriculum. There are your national standards, but then there are your local. Most law enforcement stuff is state governed, state training, and each state does it differently. So let's change it. Let's change it to where they have to get insurance and where they have to be licensed, not certified anymore, licensed. I'll go you one on that. Then change the mandate to where they got to respond. But when they get there, just like customer service, when you go to McDonald's, we'll use McDonald's. Who doesn't know about the golden arches? When you go to McDonald's, if you don't like the service there, you can leave. Right? You went to McDonald's, or if they don't want to service you, they reserve the right to refuse that service. They reserve that right. So let's go you one there. I should have the right, because remember now, I can't take those extra liberties with that indemnity, if you will, under the good faith doctrine. So you need to understand the laws and the procedures and things that we have. Good faith doctrine is established by the Supreme Court, because when the government pushes police, a percentage who are not necessarily the smartest. Okay, now get your egos in check. I don't give a shit what you think about what you think, right? The standards of being the police are not as high as you think they are. Why? Because all you smart guys who got the straight A's and the bachelor's degrees and the master's degrees and stuff like that, you are not trying to die, in essence, to go out there and be the police. So they got to get somebody from somewhere. So that's why the standards get lessened, while your mindset of what you think they can do is higher than what it actually is. Right. So you expect the police to continuously maintain the knowledge of the Graham versus Connor and the Tennessee versus Gardner and the Map versus Ohio. And some of y'all like, what the fuck is that? Well, those are Supreme Court cases that establish case law in terms of what officers can and cannot do. The Arizona versus Johnson's, things like that. You know, they need to know these things conceptually so they can apply them physically, but you don't expect them to, maybe you expect them to know that, but their aptitude test don't necessarily make sure they know that. The in-services could be just a head bobbing session, and yeah, you got it. Yeah, I got it. It's, you know, you don't understand the training components of what goes on in the training, so that you can be able to properly assess whether or not they've retained the information. Is the training even discipline backed? I remember in the military, if we failed a test, there was hell to pay. If you failed a PT test, you were flagged. You couldn't get promoted. You couldn't get this. You couldn't get that. And fail it too many times, you're chaptered out. You're extracted out. So in other words, you got to meet the standard, or there's some punishment to come with that, including the extraction from the military. Those are punitive things. But again, the military trains and trains and trains and trains and trains for wars they may never fight. Right? So, solutions. We're not going to talk about the justification. Let's get to solutions. Right? What should we change about this? You know how many calls I've responded to, especially domestics? Oh my God, I can't stand walking into your shit. Okay? Get me a traffic stop all day. Get me narcotics all day. Get me a homicide all day. I'll work that case. It's cool. But you two fighting each other over he didn't fuck you right, or, you know, you caught him cheating, or she put her hands on. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Why? Because half the time, you weren't who you needed to be to analyze who you should have been when you got with that person, and you're holding that person's feet to the fire without holding yourself to the fire. And if I'm 25 or in my 20s, I don't have enough life equity to be able to insert some kind of healing into this situation, because I don't know. I'm barely 25. I just became an adult. So here I am trying to think about what I could tell you, and I don't have shit to tell you. So what am I going to do? Default to what I know. Why? Because the law says, number one, I gotta be here. I can't turn away. I gotta bring about some resolution to this situation, but I'm young as fuck. What the fuck do I know about your old ass problems? In fact, you could school me, but you're not in that headspace though. You're not in that mind space. So what do? I default to what I know, which is the use of force. Oh, and don't tell me, What the fuck are you doing here? I don't want your ass here, Officer Uncle Tom, coon-ass Sambo motherfucker. So you're saying all of these things, taking me from a prefrontal cortex where logic and reasoning resides, and you're triggering me to the amygdala. So now I'm just as angry as you, not as mature as I should be, because I don't know what the fuck to tell you. And then you wonder why force is used. Because you can't help your own problems, and I damn sure can't help you. So here we are. Here we are. And that's part of the problem. So change the mandate. Make it to where I got to get licensed. Make it to where I got to get insured. Make it to where I have the option once I arrive on scene, whether or not I feel it is in my best interest to service you. It's just like a car accident, or it's just like driving a car. I get the insurance because I'm required to get the insurance. But because I'm required to get the insurance, I don't want to see Jake from State Farm. I don't want to have to explain to him why my insurance, has to go up because I ran into a car because I just wanted to test to see if the shit works. No, I'm going to avoid that car crash, and I'm going to drive aggressively and defensively to avoid the problems that would cause my insurance premiums to go up or would cause me to get dropped from my insurance. So when I go to the scene and I sit here and I say, oh shit, it's Keisha and Demetrius again. Y'all gonna be back together anyway, so what you call me for? Well, I called you because he put his hands on me. Well, shit, maybe you should have ducked this time. Maybe you should here we go. I don't want to have nothing to do with it because y'all gonna be back in the same situation anyway. So what y'all want me to do? You want me to lock him up and then have this problem and he gonna fight me and I'm gonna have to pop his ass and then you gonna jump me? No, I ain't got time for that. So I don't want my insurance to go up. So I reserve the right to refuse service. I'm gonna review service and I'm gonna avoid this conflict. Well, that's not customer service. Oh, yes, that is, in fact, good customer service because ask anyone who is a business professional, not every dollar is worth getting. How many of you are entrepreneurs who have had to turn away money you even need just because you can foresee the problems that come with taking that dollar, the problems that come with getting that contract, the ass you're going to have to continuously kiss if you play ass kiss just this time to get that little money. Not all money is good money. You learn that in business. And not all encounters are encounters that I need to be involved in. I reserve the right to refuse service and give a shit about how you feel. I have to think about me. And that's what it is. That's what it is. See, black folks, if you don't like the police, stop fucking calling them. There is no law that says you have to call the police. If you don't fucking like the police, drive the speed limit, wear your seatbelt, put your kids in the right fucking car seats, learn how to be a better you so that you can avoid the likelihood of that contact. It's just that simple. Be a better you. That's it. And don't get me wrong, you're not gonna escape all police contact. You're not going to, it's impossible. But be who you need to be so that you can limit the chances of that police contact. And we're frozen. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm still live, but you may not be able to see me, but we're fixing some of those other things. Be who you need to be. Be who you need to be. I know you frozen. Here we go. Let's go. And I get it, Shannon. That doesn't stop the contact. But guess what? It minimizes it. We're back up. It minimizes it. It doesn't stop the contact. If you're watching this, share this. Share this because I'm going to keep on repeating it. Share it. Share it. Tag some people we good to go. It's back up. That we need to, that needs to hear it. We're good. Right? Be who you need to be. I just put a post on my personal page, right? You are failing your kids if you keep telling them you can be whatever you want to be while you as the adult are not who you need to be and what you need to have so you can help them be who they need to be so they can be what they want to be. Absolutely. So you telling your kids to live a dream they will never see because you are not helping them be who they need to be. Unfortunately, in America, at this table, we all have different cards pulled from the same deck. Some may have a lighter skin color. That's one set of card. Some may have a darker skin color. That's one type of card. Some may have a lighter skin color, but they may be living in an area that is considered to be a bad area. That's another card. You have the deck of cards that you have to play. And some of you won't even play the game to find out if you're going to fucking win. You got a loser's mindset. You got a loser's mindset. You will see the hand that's in your hand right now and you'll shit. And you'll let everybody know you got a losing hand. Not every losing hand is a losing hand. There are people with losing hands who have won good games because they understood about how to act, when to act. And you don't know that it's over until it's over. It is literally not over until the fat lady sings. If that's a way of saying it. But some of y'all won't even try. Some of you all won't even attempt to do. You won't even try. You have a loser's mindset. You'll let other people with agendas tell you how to live your life. You want to protest about the police officers in Philadelphia who are seen on body camera backing away from the person with a fucking knife. Yet you got two little fat ass black couldn't take the damn law, didn't pay attention to what the fuck everybody else have to do, sitting here and stabbing another person who simply said put on a mask. And they grabbed his ass and stabbed him 27 times. Where's the fucking protest for that? Where's the protest for that? 27 times he gets stabbed and they charged with attempted murder. Where are their parents? But you fucks are ready for war. You can't even follow directions. I bet you the guy that got stabbed 27 times wish he had one of the balls of the two Philadelphia police officers who shot Walter Wallace. I bet you he would have. See, you want to talk that old nice shit until it's time for you to actually do. Then you want to extend to people the courtesy, well, they're not going to harm me. I'm black. They're black. And what the fuck did you find out? You got stabbed 27 whole times. I'm telling you, cut the fucking bullshit. You want the police to do more for you than you do for you? See, I'm controversial and I'm not going to change my message. How you want the police to have more mental health programs to address the very problem that the mother could have addressed? What the fuck you think they're going to teach the police? Something different the mother couldn't learn? Do you know how many crisis prevention instructors there are out there, myself included? You know how many anger management specialists there are out there, myself included? You mean to tell me you want somebody else to do for you what you could have done for yourself? You spread your legs and opened your shit to the penis that you allowed to enter your vagina. And you allowed yourself to bring into this world a person who has value, whose life has meaning. You raised this person to the age that he was before that situation. So you've got over 20 years of vested experience to know the ins and the outs of young Mr. Walter Wallace. But you expect two white boys who just met him within minutes to know what the fuck you should have known all this time. And now the police need to do for you what the fuck you wouldn't do for yourself? The fuck? Who does that? Where the fuck is that at? Where is that done at? And at what point in time are we going to sit there and hold ourselves accountable for the fuckery that we're stuck in? But you motherfuckers are ready for war. You're not ready. Your mind is already fucked, so your body is yet to follow. Say what you want to say about me. I give a fuck. Because all you going to do is sugarcoat that, and like the fat ass we are, you going to eat that shit too. This moment is sponsored by Dunkin'.
Actually, Sissy's Tacos.
That too. Shit. Go man, do taco. I tried to say it. It didn't come out right. I'm just saying. Come on. Absolutely. What can I say in 10 minutes that I haven't said in 10 years? It's your responsibility. Your responsibility. And the fact is, I hate to say it, shouts out to my elders. I love you. But I'm going to say some shit your kids probably wanted to say, but they haven't said because they got something. See, the problem is you can't receive the messages that you need to hear because there's too much emotion tied to the person who's really trying to tell you the truth. Some people, I go to the range, and I'm going to still say what I need to say. I ain't forgot it, but I'm just providing more, whatever. Some family members can't even teach their other family members how to shoot. I watch husbands take their wives on the range, and the wives are literally fucking up. But the husband ain't gonna tell them shit. Why? Because you want to fuck tonight. Boyfriends are taking their girlfriends on the range. She is fucking up whole time, and you ain't gonna say nothing. Why? Because you know her ego feel good because she gonna twerk it tonight. The problem is when that person's got a connection to you, you might not tell them the truth because you're afraid of what you're about to lose by telling them the truth. Well, I ain't fucking you. Here we go. Elders. You have failed the youth. You heard what the fuck I said. You have failed the youth. You have. You know why? Because after you, not us, we weren't born yet, right? We recognize the shit that you have gone through. But the problem is, once you got released from those things that you had to go through after the fights that you see, people say we are not our elders. You know why? Because we ain't experiencing the shit that they experienced. We just get just a little bit repackaged. But the real racism they had to go through, the real ass whoopings and the real hangings and the we about to die anyway, so you might as well stand on your feet and fight for some shit, because if we gonna die, we gonna die fighting. They really fought. But once we got access to shit, you stopped trying. You started showering your offspring with the shit that you got access to. Why? Because I didn't have it growing up. I want to make sure they have it. And you didn't teach us how to fucking work for the shit. You didn't teach us about the fight that you had to go through. You didn't stress test us. So now the streets got to stress test us. And now we in this condition where we're lawless. We don't respect authority. You don't want to sit here and put us through the stressors of the things that we need to go through to make us as tough as you. You stop trying, but then you want to complain about the lawlessness of the kids of today. It's your fucking fault. So eat that shit. The child not embraced by the village will burn it to feel its warmth. That's the African proverb too, but you don't hear people talking about that, fucking do you? Why? Because they don't want to make sure that they are listening to the fact that they are responsible for why in these previous riots, you are burning down the very village that you need to survive, dumbass. That's right. You somehow want the fucking police to do for you what the fuck you won't do for yourself. Well, they not coming to save us anyway, so we gonna have to save ourselves. Are you ready for that? You talk about a fucking civil war. You ain't ready for that white-black civil war. We need to have some, let's take us in a room and talk about that shit. Herb Howard even talked about that yesterday. One of his family members was messing with his aunt. He said, look, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, I'm about to come over there and beat your ass. That's what we need to have. We need to have a backdoor session. Because we got some cousins, and we got some aunties, and we got some, hey, mama, don't do that. You can't tell me how to raise yes, the fuck I can tell you how to raise your kid. And if you smack the shit out of him again without teaching him, I'ma beat your ass. Do it in front of me again, see what the fuck happened. You're not gonna beat him in front of me. You beating your kid because you ain't got shit to teach your kid. And what's gonna happen? It's going to continue where he is going to grow up and beat the shit out of another woman because of the mom who didn't pay attention to his needs. Come on now. I'm not going. We don't hold ourselves responsible in our own community. If I'm leading my troops in the military or I'm leading my officers, if we don't hold each other up, we are doing ourselves a disservice. I watched a Navy SEAL documentary yesterday. Navy SEAL documentary, one of the commanders. If y'all ever seen the movie Act of Valor, see, I educate myself all the time. And it's on YouTube. Take your ass out that fucking Fortnite or whatever bullshit on Lifetime you're watching. It was an epic tale of epic proportions. Sarah Meth Buellen had enough. This time on Life. One man, one show. Get your ass out that fantasy bullshit and educate yourself about some real shit. One of the commanders sat there and said, you know, people think the Navy SEALs is this whole one person by themselves. No. Yes, each of us are capable to hold our own, but we all depend on the team. No one person is better than the other. You have the competitive alpha male aspect, but we are all dependent on each other. That's what makes us a cohesive unit. That's what makes us a team. And as a team, we are no stronger than the support we have in the rear and the elements in the sky and the top. That's how that works. That's how that works. That's how that works. Teamwork. The rest of you fucks are ready to try to start a team knowing damn well that meat is also spelled in the word team. Come on, man. We gotta get it. Come on. We gotta hold ourselves accountable. We gotta hold ourselves accountable. And no one is perfect. I don't expect perfection. I don't. But we gotta hold ourselves accountable. Because this is some bullshit. Long after that protest is done, long after those officers in Philadelphia are found to be justified in the shooting, because that's what's gonna happen. They're going to be found, well, we know what's going to happen because it's a part of a racist system. And shut that shit up. Come on, bring your ass on over to my class. I would love to stress test you. I love it. I love it when I get the most headstrong person in my class. There ain't no physical contact. I ain't trying to whoop no ass. No, I ain't got time. I don't need to beat your ass to teach you. But I guarantee you the thing that you think you know, when you get tested in a real world training environment, yeah, your opinion's going to change. You're going to do the very same shit the police do. And a great percentage of you all with the concealed carry licenses, you haven't been stress tested yet. You don't even go to the range. You don't even go to any outdoor range training. You ask me about these little bitty ass guns that you want to carry because you want to hide the gun in your titty. Yes, I said, I'm glad we on this kind of radio. I could be me. And if you don't like it, just still be here. I ain't gonna tell you log off. Hell no. But you want to hide the small gun in the crevices of your breast so that don't nobody know you got. What the fuck? Are you serious? You don't carry the gun for your ego. You carry the gun for the battle. That right there already tells me you ain't ready. Now, you can be educated and you can be ready. But I'm telling you, we need to be more together as a team. Kenneth, I'm reading some of your comments here. Kenneth Steele, yes, it is. And we become fodder for others. Unfortunately, the segment he's referring to won't listen to you or I. Yeah. And common sense shouldn't be controversial. That was a comment that Adrian, well, you heard what I said, Adrian. Hide the gun in your breastises. Okay. You get some people, don't get me wrong, small guns have their place, right? They do. They do. But we need to make sure that we are, yeah, you can hide it there too. You need to make sure that you're ready. I'm looking at some of your comments here. It's unfortunate that we are probably the only group that are defined by a small percentage of the whole. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's a small percentage of the whole. I just know that when I look at, what I experience, because we are the collection of our thoughts, experiences, education, things like that, right? So I can't say anything about your experience other than it's just your experience, and I have to respect that space that you're in. But when you've been in a career and in a lifestyle where you're responding to, in essence, the negative of what happens when people don't control their emotions, right? And we've talked about that. Behind every, I don't even want to say every, behind a great deal of adults lies that little child who has not been addressed, that anger that resides inside, right? And if you haven't experienced that, then your opinions are shaped around speculation. You don't really know, right? And so that is what forms your opinions. It's speculation. But when you've lived a life of trauma, you can relate. When you've been shot at, you can relate. When you've been, ask a person who has been stabbed. Now, I hope the person who got stabbed 27 times, I hope he's alive. I guarantee you, if you ask him when he recovers to where he's ambulatory and can speak and whatever, I guarantee you when you ask him about the officers who shot young Mr. Wallace in Philadelphia, what would he have done? I guarantee you his tone is like, I'd have shot his ass too. Why? Because in his experience, he just got stabbed. Now, who knows the circumstances all the way other than the mask, and they said no. And then there was another, I guess, the one girl tried to call someone up to the store to whoop his ass. He grabbed the phone, so then one person grabbed him by his hair, and put him at a disadvantage where the other ones were able to stab him. How the fuck do you get yourself in a position where you let people do that? Oh, no, we let people do that because we don't put our hands on females, right? You got certain aspects of the community that say we don't put our hands on females. We don't touch children defensively. It's all this chivalry. And I'm telling you, as a person who is experienced, fuck that, a child can kill your ass. A girl or a woman will kill your ass. In fact, there have been situations where a woman and the femininity of a woman has been used as an advantage in combat, has been used as an advantage in espionage, has been used as an advantage. Why? Because a smart person attacks you where you think you're safe. You think you're safe in your morals and things that you uphold. I'm not going to do this because a woman wouldn't do this. And I get that in classes too. I get that in classes. Well, I wouldn't expect a woman to shit, and that's where you're going to get hurt. I wouldn't expect a child to shit, and that's where you're going to get hurt. A percentage of you think that the police aren't solving crimes because they're not doing shit. No, the police aren't solving crimes in part because, hell, let you go on ahead and solve your own shit. That's one part of it. But the second reason why they're not doing it is because if you ask people who are really out there in the streets, the juveniles are out there doing more killing than those who actually have records. Why? Because when fingerprints are left on the scene, you need a record of that fingerprint to actually make the connection. When you have other types of trace evidence on the scene, you need something to trace that trace to. And if there is no trace and there is no face, you have no case. And especially if you have no cooperation from the same community talking about the police ain't doing, but when they ask you for something, you don't want to say shit, which all the more leads me to believe that you're not willing to put your life on the line and risk your safety and security for your brother and sister who just got shot by someone who looks like you. Furthermore, you're not willing to put yourself on the line for this community in this so-called alleged, maybe could happen, maybe not, civil war. You see how that all connects? So sit your cowardly lion ass down and actually learn how to use a firearm to just protect you and the four walls and maybe a neighbor to the left or to the right of you, because that's all your chicken ass is really going to do. Because when the real combatants come outside and play, they got a song, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, and that's the type of shit we get hyped off of. We don't give a fuck about what you will shoot your grandmother and just to sit there if she's an enemy. I'm telling you, I'm not saying we will do that legally, but in war, the laws of land, ain't no laws of land warfare in a civil war because this ain't a sanctioned thing. So what you think's gonna happen? Ain't no laws and rules in that shit. You can't protect Granny if she in a wheelchair, but you love her. So we gonna fuck with your emotions. Are you ready for that shit? I'm just telling you, you're not ready. You're not ready. If we are not who we need to be, it's not going to go well. It shouldn't even happen at all. But there are some Negroes who are just hell-bent on thinking, oh, whether we ready or not, we got to do it. Okay, motherfucker, I'm going to sit here and watch from my little perch with my nice little 338 Lapua just ready. And you don't even know what the fuck that is. You had to Google that shit. Tell the truth. You had to Google it, didn't you? What the fuck is a 338 Lapua? Absolutely. Why you sitting here on some 5.56 shit? I'll give you some 6.5 Creedmoor. What is that? Oh, I gotta look that up. Is that a band? Oh shit, you're not ready. I'm telling you. You're not ready. You're not ready. So get mad all you want. Get fucked. You're not ready. Hell, I'm not ready. I'm sweating right now. You see that? See this little fat ass shit? I'm not ready. I might be just a little bit ready. Come on now. Come on now. I want us to be ready. I want us to be ready. All right, Dante, I'm looking at your comment. Here we go. There are consequences to a child's action that warrants an ass whooping, but if you beat your child without telling them why, then that's child abuse. I agree in part, right? I agree in part. But I can honestly say maybe when my, older children were like younger, maybe I might have popped them. Yesterday, I had my little daughters with me, and my little girl, Ava, she took one of the belts she was playing around, and she hit her sister, and it caused her to just cry a little bit, and I was like, no, Pop, don't do that. One little pop, all right, I get it, right? One little pop, just to remind them, shock them back to, to life, to consciousness. You don't do that, right? But some of these parents just take it too doggone far. You mad because they're an exact mirror of your ass. And you think that by beating them, that's going to beat it out of them. Oh, Rod, I know you know what a 338 is. We ain't talking. Shouts out to Rod Buddha and the National African American Gun Owners Association. I know you know what this stuff is, right? But we're not going to get any justice out of this case or any. Oh, Rod, I know you got a 6'5", bro. I know. We're not going to get any justice out of this. You know why? Because we're not getting justice out of our homes. You really think white folks about to come into Auburn Gresham and start a war? You really think white folks about to come into the hood and start some shit with your ass? No, all they got to do is just withdraw the police and let you just fuck yourselves up. Right? We're talking solutions. That's what we've been talking this whole time. Right? So what do you think about the solution that I propose? I want to see it in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, go on ahead and comment in the YouTube section. I'll go on ahead and respond. If you're commenting on Facebook, go on ahead and comment in the comment section. What do you think about what I proposed about that? I know I said a lot. Okay? But I want the police to get licensed. I want them to get insured. And I want the law to change. I actually do. I'm not a police officer anymore. I'm a citizen, right? I want the law to change, right? Don't ask me if I'm going to call the police. I don't call the police, right? I handle the situation myself. See, when you're used to being that thing, right? Then you don't need the police to do for you, in essence, what you can do for yourself. See, the smarter of the folks get into law enforcement, get that knowledge, and then maybe get out and do some other stuff, right? Get in the military, get that knowledge, get on out, do some other stuff. Some of you won't even do that. Fuck 12, right? Got it. Fuck the police. Well, here's a situation where somebody in the family should have been able to help young Mr. Wallace through whatever he was going through, but mommy wasn't able to do it. Nobody else was able to do it. So what do? I would love to be able to watch you in your, because I'm serious. Please, if I was on the job right now and the law had been changed where I can have to respond, but I have the option, I'd watch you beat the shit out of each other. I would. Why am I going to get myself into it? And then I'd say, oh, you want me to help? Sure. Okay. Now, before I do, it may not turn out the way you want it to turn out. Do you still want me to help? Then I get in. And then when you sit there and say, I don't need your help anymore, guess what I'm doing? I'm gone. If I even choose to stick around. Why? Because sometimes a person learns best when they get burned. And I know for some of you women, that's hard to hear. But guess what? If you don't, ladies, I'm talking to you. And I love you, right? I really do. I don't know you. I didn't wake up next to you, but I love you. There's a lot of conversation about this. The black woman is being devalued or not valued by the black man. Value your fucking self. That's number one. Okay. Number two, duck. Proximity still works. You can only get your ass whooped if you're close by. You can only catch the hand to the face when your face is in the place. So remove your face from the place and that hand will not meet your face. The laws of physics still apply. What do you want me to tell you? Well, I need you. No, you need you. I can only compliment what you do for you. It's just that simple. Stop looking for other people to value your insecure ass. And there are men who are insecure too. I was one of them. But you cannot secure anything when you haven't learned to secure yourself. Fucking duck. Move. Maybe it's not just him, it's your ass too. You want somebody else to value you when you're not valuing yourself. Value yourself. It's not that man's fault that your mom didn't teach you how to be better for you when she wasn't better for her. That's your mama's fault. You need to have a conversation with your mama. Why you ain't teach me? Value your fucking self. How about that? Come on. Then when you value yourself, then when you decide to protect yourself, you don't have to worry about catching an ass whooping because you're confident in the one that you can dish. And when you're honest about your abilities or the lack thereof, you will not put yourself in situations where you know that you have lost the war before one has begun. Value yourself. Stop lying to yourself. We're going to take a break. We got to. I've been going strong for a minute. You see the sweat. It's offering time. Hit those stars. It's 12:06, October 29th. It's Thursday. This is Trigger. I'm Instructor Mike. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
WIFTBPN.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Trigger with Instructor Mike on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Why? Why? Because someone told a great guy no.
No! God, please, no! No!
And he told that no, and he said, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and turn that no into next opportunity. That's the latest book I just released, What I Tell Myself About No, because children who do not understand the power of rejection and the propulsion that occurs inside it becomes adults who can't take rejection, and your next opportunity could be right around the corner if you just understand how to use that no. And that's why we exist at What's in It for the Black People Media Network, because someone took a no and said, I'm going to create next opportunity. You're not silencing the voice, because that's what's in it for the black people, is the truth. Not always that you want to hear. It's the shit that needs to be said, because our ancestors fought and died to give us the right of access. And who the fuck are you to tell me no? Only on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwakil's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Jordan, Chicago famous.
Tony Sco, was there still that pushback against comedians becoming radio personalities, or was it accepted around that time?
In Chicago, we was used to having some funny on the radio in the morning, so.
I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you.
Man, I remember one time I was at a Bulls game, and I'm at the little concession stand. This dude in front of me, this little OG dude turned around like, yeah, you that cat, you that dude. that replaced Dale. We don't like that shit. I'm just saying.
Word?
Why are you here? I'm like, I'm just trying to buy a hot dog, son. I'm just trying to buy a hot dog. And then what make it so bad, when Sam left and I got the job, I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm getting ready to do afternoons. She's like, oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I'm replacing Sam. So she's like, hold on. Wait, you replacing Sam Silk? Where's Sam going? I'm like, my mama was upset.
Right, your mama.
Right.
I'm like, Mama, did you just hear that let me replace Sam Silk? And she was like, okay. Where's Sam going? But yeah, so I think that was the point where I really realized that, I had a chance of actually making it a career.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIIFTBPN. Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown them? Then crown their ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct. Let's begin.
Hey, we are back. We are back with Instructor Mike and Triggered. I'm your host, Mike, Instructor Mike. See, if you're watching on YouTube, go on ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're watching on Facebook, go on ahead and like the Maze Jackson page. Hit the stars. That actually supports great content on here. Shouts out to Angela Williams with the 50 stars that she sent. We greatly appreciate that. All right, so this is going to be the concealed carry portion of the show, where we're going to we're going to go ahead and talk about concealed carry. Have you all taken a class? You need to take some kind of class so you can get your concealed carry, because you need to be able to protect yourself. You need to be able to protect yourself, because no one else is going to protect you. So if you have not taken a class, I do have seats available in my class tomorrow. It's $150, $50 deposit, $100 on the day of, unless you buy one of my children's books, which I do have at least, 7 of them. And then it gets you $25 off the class. Now, I understand we're about to shut down again. Now, we're an essential business. So that we're typically able to stay open during the shutdowns and stuff like that, pursuant to the governor's order, because we actually help people get security jobs and stuff like that. So that's what it gives us that ability to. But you need to get yourself in a concealed carry class. Don't wait until, God forbid, a George Floyd situation happens, or this pandemic, which one of the things that boosted gun sales, because people thought it was going to be one of those, breaking into a house and stealing resources, which does happen and can happen in a situation where, we're shut down. But make sure you get a concealed carry class, because I'm telling you, another shutdown, you got businesses that are not able to, yeah, it is. I got you, Kenneth. You got people who are in a situation where the police they're gonna do what they have to do and go where they need to go. But until the police arrive, what are you gonna do? Okay, so you need to make sure that you get into someone's concealed carry class. I don't care if it's not mine. That's fine. If your ego is so bothered where Trigger Mike has triggered you and you're like, fuck Mike Brown. All right, that's fine. I'm not gonna lose any sweat off my back. But at the end of the day, you still need to be able to protect yourself. But make sure that when you do go to an instructor, you go to an instructor who's not so much concerned about a 5-star rating. They're concerned about making sure that you're armed with the knowledge of how to protect yourself and the reality that comes with that. It's not enough to just own a gun. Look, anyone can own a gun. You got people in the streets that got guns and they're not even supposed to have them. Look, getting a gun is not hard to get. Protecting yourself is another thing. It's more than just pressing that trigger. There are other things that come with it. It's starting to be winter. Okay, so that means with you wearing more clothes, you may have to shift the kind of holster that you have for your gun so that you're able to quickly access that holster amidst all the other clothing that you are wearing. Those are special considerations that you need to take into consideration, the environment that you put yourself in. But, you got some instructors who teach shoot, and then they just teach things in the abstract of, just making sure that you are mindful of the situations that you are around, situational awareness. And those things are very important. Of course, it's easy to tell somebody, well, if you do this and you violate the law, you go to jail and here's the penalties. But you really need to go to a place where they begin to focus on what motivates your choice to be in this environment, what motivates your choice to feel this kind of way. Those things are also important to learn too. So I don't necessarily want to call myself, just a firearms instructor, but more so of a quasi-therapist, if you will, because there are a lot of adults with wounds from the past. Yeah, I have shot that, and I'll address that, Marlo. There are a lot of adults with wounds from the past, and it serves as the very walls that we put up that force us into certain stances that we have on life, that we have on people, and things like that. And those are the things, that human element, that human component that needs to be addressed. You need to go someplace where you're going to get fed. It's easy to put you on a range and teach you how to shoot. That shit's easy. I don't need 16 hours for that, and 16 hours honestly isn't enough. You go to my class or anybody's class. I don't care what type of concealed carry class you go through. If that's the only class you go through and you get into a real situation, you might die because you need more training. I'm just going to tell you that you need more training. You need more training. You can never stop training. So if you got concealed carry questions, go on ahead and put them in the comments section if you're watching on Facebook, because I am watching that. No problem. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. Oh, hey, shouts out to Tiger Lily. What's going on? Marlo Colvin. Okay, so you asked a question, have I ever shot the SIG P365? Yes, I have. And if you go to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike, or even my TikTok, but YouTube page, Instructor Mike, again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, as well as the Maze Jackson page. But if you go to my page, you'll see I did a review on it. My opinion about small guns is this. They do have a place. They really do. Small guns are effective, but they're typically effective to get you to something bigger or get you out of something that's immediate right in front of your face. They're not something that's gonna sustain a long battle, because you may not have that many magazines on you, stuff like that. So it's pretty much to get you to something bigger, right? So the 365, it has a lot of felt recoil behind it because of the type of hands that I have. I have medium-sized hands. I like to have firearms that, will endure the battle, because you just don't know what you're going to find yourself in. And maybe I'm jaded in essence by my military and law enforcement experience, where I'm so used to carrying full to medium-sized pistols, and the only small pistols that I've ever had are, smaller pistols in essence, which still take the full-size magazine. So I guess in fairness, I'm jaded by that. But if the 365 is what works for you, then as long as you understand that, if, let's just say, in one situation, I wish I had the video for that, but you can go on ahead and look it up. It was a home invasion in South Bend, Indiana, where a young lady, black lady, with her children, they kicked in the door, and this kid was brave. This kid, you might want to look up, 5-year-old kid in South Bend fights off home invaders. I think that's the title, somewhere in that ballpark. The kid was very brave. He threw a toy, but mom was afraid. And how many people entered that home at that time? It was 5. 5 people entered. I think it was 5 or 6 people, anyway, between 4 to 6 people that entered the home. And that's the one thing that I don't like with, certain instructors, is that their advice that they give to you in terms of the type of gun that you need is, I hate to say it, based on sexism. That's one aspect of it, in terms of thinking the complexities of this gun, and you're a lady, so it might be too much. Take a revolver. That's one aspect of it. And then another aspect of it is, well, it doesn't really happen a lot, so it's not going to happen to you. That's bullshit. Just because it doesn't happen a lot does not mean it's not going to happen to you. I don't know what her lifestyle was, but if she has maybe an average lifestyle, and that what is average is debatable, but if she has an average lifestyle where she don't mess with nobody, she doesn't do anything other than go to work, come home, take care of her kids, and now she's quarantined, who knows? People could have seen maybe what she brought into the place, or maybe who she might even hangs around. I mean, that those things happen. And all of a sudden, all 5 entered, and just imagine if she had a little pium-pium. A little bitty ass gun, that maybe she hadn't cleaned it, and maybe she shot the first shot, but then it jammed up, and, it's so small, so there's not a lot of surface area where under stress. That's the operating condition that people don't always train for. Under stress, she's able to manipulate that firearm when you get a malfunction and do these things in dealing with these 5 people and trying to protect her child. So you want to make sure that you go to an instructor who's going to teach things from a very realistic perspective, not giving you these, well, you're less likely to experience it because you're a woman, or they're not going to mess with you because you have kids, or you're this, you're that. That's the wrong way to approach it. You don't get the gun for the ego. You get the gun for the battle. Now, Frank Guzman says a shotgun is always good to have as home protection. Frank, I agree in part and I disagree in part. A shotgun is good to have in the hands of someone who is trained in terms of how to successfully negotiate or move around or manage maneuvering around tight corners and managing the recoil that occurs with using that shotgun. I think that would be a more better statement. And the statement that you made, Frank, and I'm sure you made it rather innocently, but the statement that, a shotgun is always good to have for home protection is a theory that you commonly hear gun sellers state, at the gun store, where a person approaches the, bench and they ask, I'll answer your question, Steph, where a person sits there and says, well, I want to have something for home protection. Well, you want to get this, you want to get that, but here, let's get a shotgun. And when you're talking about let's getting a shotgun, if you can't handle the sound and the feel of the recoil from a 9mm, or any other type of small arms pistol, if the psychology of it just freaks you out, and this is a pistol, you definitely don't need a shotgun, because the recoil on that is way more. Now, it depends on, of course, what type of, shotgun shell you're using. If you're using deer slug, or if you're using, double-aught buck, where you're talking about 9.32 caliber pellets that are in essence spreading, right? So let's talk about that. With a single bullet, you have a problem placing that single bullet with that minimal recoil in one place. Now you want to have a shotgun that spreads 9.32 caliber pellets in all directions, when 1, you could have kids, you may not know where they are. 2, look at the type of house that you have. 9 times out of 10, a great percentage of houses these days are with drywall. So those 32 caliber pellets under that type of force, that type of gunpowder with a shotgun, it's going through. And so, do you want to walk into one of these rooms and see one of your kids killed? Are you ready for that? And so I recommend a Roni, a micro Roni attachment to, a pistol, maybe a Glock 17, Glock 19, stuff like that. Learn how to, how many of y'all play hide-go-seek in your homes? If you don't play hide-go-seek in your homes, how do you know what corners you can manage, where your weak spots, where your blind spots, where your points of advantage, points of disadvantage, things like that. If you don't even have fun around your house and run around the house, you spend so much time telling the kids, don't run around the house, don't do this, don't break that. You don't turn it into a fun event where you get to learn how to defend the space you call home. This is why people freak the fuck out when someone kicks in their door. Why? Because this new fear of this intruder entering your home, plus your fear of what to do, causes you to default because you have options in the home you haven't even examined. Right? And so because you have options in the home you haven't even examined, you think you have no options and you default to the gun. Isn't that ironic? The very same shit that you say the police should do in terms of having options and exploring those options, you don't even train to do. And so you default out of fear of your life. Oh, isn't that some shit? Okay. So let me look at some of your other questions. Steph asked, hello, how long does it take to get your gun license after your class? And do you assist with the pistol permit? Yes, we do assist with the application process. But unfortunately, now I get your, I'm going to answer your question too, Frank. Unfortunately, the state is taking a long time because during the first COVID shutdown, they were not processing applications until the government opened back up. And because during that time, a lot of people took classes. I was super, super busy. A lot of people took classes. A lot of people applied for licenses, and the state wasn't doing anything. So it just built a backlog on top of the backlog. So people are still waiting. We have no control over that. You have no control over that. The state is trying to do something to mitigate that, but then they're not. This is a gun-hating state. All you folks in a couple of days, or however many days during election, or they're doing it now, whatever, you're voting blue, but we live in a state where they don't recognize your gun rights for you to be able to protect yourself. So you're doubly fucked. The police ain't coming for your ass, and it takes a long time to get your permit. Vote blue. What the fuck ever, right? Vote your interest, do whatever you want. I don't care. Love you all the same. But if protection is something that you're looking for, you need to contact your state rep or your state senator and get on their ass and talk to them about why the damn system is so slow, because they are not going to be there to help you protect you. You have to do that. Here we go. Kenneth Steele, yes, we do help with the process as well. We can help you with that too. Kenneth Steele asked, I had to go to the gun show in Indiana last week. You're definitely going to pay the presidential election year tax. Here's an advice that I give you for how to, when you're talking about getting ammunition. Don't go buy in bulk at one place because, they have limitations on how much ammo you can get. While you've been so busy talking about Trump, you probably should have been stopping with your racist rhetoric. Yeah, I'm talking about you black folks. I'm talking about your ass, okay? You talk about white folks all day, but I'm talking about your ass because we don't talk about us, right? You probably should have been, stopping with your racist ass rhetoric, talking about another side and find common ground. You know what common ground typically is? Something that you both agree on. Whether you're white or black, we both agree we need to protect our own selves, or at least you should. Whether you're white or black, you're still going to use a gun. Whether you're white or black, you still need ammo. And whether you're white or black, you still need to shoot. So what I'm saying is, maybe, just maybe, just like Trevor Noah said, racism does not stand up well to contact. Maybe if you would have had a couple of friends in a couple of areas, you wouldn't have an ammunition problem. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. Vote black, vote blue, vote regular fuck, whatever. Vote your interest. But your interest should be self-protection regardless of who you are. Okay? So maybe if you had a couple of friends in a couple of places, you wouldn't have this ammunition problem because you would learn how to acquire. And not always in bulk either. Right? So, here we go. And do you recommend gun safe, and which gun safes do you recommend? That's another great question. I love these questions. You all keep these questions coming. Another great question. Do I recommend a gun safe? I don't just recommend it. you got to have it. By law, you got to have it. Why do you have to have it? If you look at Section 24-9 of the Illinois Criminal Code, it is the child protection section of the weapons section of the Illinois Criminal Code that says you have to have a safe, because if your child gets a hold of your firearm and, they obviously do something with it, get caught, whatever, you are the one that's going to be held responsible. I wish we actually had legislation in force right now where the parents are held responsible for the things the kids do. But your little badass parents would actually be better parents. You might not give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying that would be nice, right? But yes, you will get in trouble if you don't have a safe for your firearm. Now, what kind of safe do I recommend? You can always go see the video on Instructor Mike, but I'm going to talk about it. There are different kinds of safes. Whenever you go buy a firearm, you're going to get that little Fisher Price My First Gun Lock safe where you enter it into the ejection port and out through the magazine well. Take a class so you can know what parts I'm talking about, and that's the safe that comes with a key, right? Or you may go buy a safe that comes with a key. You ever been in a rush trying to leave outside the house and you forgot your keys? Yeah, that kind of stress. That same stress is still going to be there in the event somebody kicks in your door. Now, here you are looking for your keys, trying to find your keys, and you can't find your keys. Meanwhile, you got your gun in your hand. So in other words, you can't do shit with it. Right? So get the kind of safe that, in my opinion, is touch or biometric. And you need to practice going in and out of that safe quickly and under stress. Why? Because when you're under stress, you may not remember the code, right? So you need to practice it daily. I wouldn't even say change the code up. I don't care if the numbers disappear to where it looks like what 4 digits you press. I don't care. Just because it looks like that, that doesn't mean that the person who all of a sudden looks at your safe can guess your code. Yes, they do have at least 16 options because there's 4 numbers times it by 4 codes, 4 things that have to be entered in. If that's the kind of safe that you have, they have at least 16 plus times. But most safes that operate under that, you typically only have 2 to 3 tries and then it'll time out anyway, right? So get the kind of safe where you can touch. I love the biometric safes too. Those are the safes where you can touch. It registers your fingerprints. I suggest you register all your fingers, your thumbs, right? I suggest that you do that. So that way you can touch it within seconds. It opens up. You have access to it. And in the event the touch portion doesn't work, you can sit there and maybe, touch it with a pad and that'll work, or the key as a backup. I like safes that have multiple ways that you can enter. Do not get one that's just key alone. If you're going to get a tall, large gun safe, if you only have a gun, it makes no sense to get that tall gun safe. You got more safe than you got gun, okay? Now, I don't typically suggest brands because different brands do different things. I'm just giving you the concept of the type of safe. The brand, you'll have to typically go and shop because the brand also depends on one's affordability. I'll give you case in point. So, maybe about 3 years ago, I had a red Ford Focus stick shift. How many of you know how to drive a stick shift? Yeah, but I had a red Ford Focus stick shift, and I don't keep anything in my car that's worth stealing. In fact, my car, not just my car, but the cars that I've had has been broken in at least maybe 7 times. And they never get shit. So now I sit there and I got a stack of job applications that I leave on the front seat every time I get out the car. So if somebody breaks in, there's a sign saying, "Here, motherfucker, grab one." I'm sorry, that's stupid shit. But they couldn't get anything out the car because I don't leave anything inside of the car. So they went to the trunk, and when they went into we switched black. I don't know what that means. Then when he went to the trunk. So when he opened the trunk, he sat here and, he saw the safe that I had. It was a biometric safe, and he tried to get it out. He wasn't able to get it out. Now, granted, there was nothing in the safe for him to get. So even if he was successful, he would have been pissed if he would have opened that safe. It was a biometric safe and touchpad. That's one of the ones I typically use. And I don't just, put it in the trunk. I put it in other places, or sometimes I may carry it with me and put it in some other place. Who knows? But he didn't steal that. Instead, he stole my change and my flaming huts. That was some crackhead shit. I wanted those flaming huts. I did. And I wanted my change too, but whatever. But in long story short, it's just a funny story to me. Long story short, that safe that I had in the car, guess how much it cost? $67. Guess what brand it was? Stack On. Now, you may have the opinion, ew, Stack On safes. Let me tell you something. At the time that it needed to work, it worked. That's what matters. You see what I'm saying? That's what matters is, will it work at that time? Now, if he had a hacksaw, he might have been able to get through, the little lanyard that I had attached to the trunk. He wasn't able to get through, but at the time it worked. $67. And the safe is big enough to hold 2 pistols side by side. He could have carried it, but he couldn't get it out because it was latched to the car. You have some safes where you can bolt it to the floor or the whatever the metal part is. I'm not a mechanic or a car mechanic, whatever, but the floor of the actual car. So if it works, use it. That's why I don't do brands, because I don't know what your pocketbooks are like. You just have to do the research, but I'm just giving you the concept. That's why I name my business Security Training Concepts, because it's the concept that will lead you to the discovery of the self and whatever it is you like for your own budget and, personal, whatever, your specifics. You said you're going to start building a site selling safes. That would be nice. That would be nice. And I used to kind of sell those safes too. Here we go. HydroShock rounds average about $2 per and go down about $125. Haven't seen prices like that since Obama. Yeah, I remember that time. Oh, I do remember that time. This man said job applications. What's up, Tucson? Yeah, you gonna break in my car. Go get your ass a job, fool. Yeah, it worked. That's all it is, as long as it works. So what are the questions you got? 9mm. So let's talk about that. I will talk about 9mm. I like 9mm as a round. Now, some people like 40 caliber. Some people like 45. Some people like 5.7, the FN 5.7, or just a 5.7 round. The 5.7mm round is pretty much a rifle round that's built to fit in a pistol. In essence, it is armor piercing, things like that. But it's so exotic and so expensive to the point where it's like your pistol is so exotic, when you run out, you're basically fucked. Like, who do you know? I'll give you that in a minute, Randy. Who do you know is going to carry 5.7 rounds? See, one of the reasons why I like the 9mm round is when my ass runs out of ammo, the 9mm is probably one of the most popular pistol rounds. So if I run out of ammo, I got a greater chance of running into someone who has 9mm ammo. See, all of you all who don't have training and your ego is so attached to the point where you don't get training, if you get into a situation, right, let's just say we're side by side and I don't know you, but we're both, shooting at a common threat, and that threat hits you, after I stop that threat, or even hits me, I'm like, I could get got too. It happens, right? But if I stop that threat, guess what? After we patch you up and make sure you're good to go, and put you on the ambulance, guess what I'm doing? I'm taking your ammo. I'm sorry. I'm taking your fucking ammo. I don't care. You stole my shit. I know. Thank you. I'm taking your ammo. I'm taking your ammo. Why am I taking your ammo? Why am I taking the bad guy's ammo? Because shit happens. This is combat, baby. I ran out of gas. I need some more gas. And there ain't a gas station close by. I'm taking your shit. So that's why I'm telling you, you need to get training, because all of the guns that you all just purchased during this pandemic, you're not doing shit but providing fuel for those of us who know how to use the shit. So that's all you're doing. Somebody breaks into your shit, fucks you up. We're going to go right behind and take your shit. That's how it is. It's whatever. That's how it is. You can call it thievery or whatever. It's what it is. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Steph. Absolutely. So when you think about what type of firearm to get, think about the caliber too. I like the fact, and I'll give you another caveat in a minute, or another pointer, but think about the caliber. Now, Kenneth said 9mm are not very heavy rounds to have to carry around. Can't picture carrying around 5.7 rounds. Kenneth, can you even buy 5.7 rounds? Can you even buy? You know how expensive that shit is? No, I'm sorry. Now, with the 2 pistols that they do have out there, and that's just this is what I know right now. They got the FN, that's a company, FN 5.7, which was the first 5.7 pistol, I believe. And then they got the Ruger 5.7. I love the Ruger 5.7 over the FN 5.7. The Ruger 5.7 just feels so much better. But the FN 5.7, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Okay, I'm a fan of looks too. It looks stupid. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. But I'd rather have my 9mm. Here we go right here. See? Two different styles of magazines. You got the P mags, which is the type of magazine that I like, and then you got the ETS mag right here. This is a 17 round, and this is a 21 round magazine. You know, I like my 9mm magazines in my rounds because more people have them, so I got a greater chance of refilling until I get to a gun store than I do by just carrying something so exotic. When you run out of gas, that's just what it is. Those of y'all who just bought electric cars, things like that, yeah, when your battery runs out, or the battery never run out, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But when you need to recharge, you better hope you at a charging station. Shit's so exotic, no one else can use it. Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to sneak in a 5.7 into the house. I just wanted just to have as a range gun. You know, I got one of those range guns too. I got a, what do I have? Jesus Christ. I just bought it. The CZ P10F. I got it as a range gun. Oh, Steph, don't ask me that question. This is a gun thing. I'm sorry. I'm super excited. I got it as a range gun, but finding a holster to be able to carry it every day. So that's why I got it just as a range gun. Steph, you said, how do I feel about the Draco? Dude, I love the Draco. I love it. If you don't understand what's going on, Nelly? If you don't understand how to use the Draco, now granted, I would rather have the one that has the folding stock, but I've shot the Draco many times and it performs well. A lot of times when people are on the range and they hear the loudness of the 7.62 by 39mm round, which is what the Draco takes, which is the platform of pretty much an AK-47, it's louder than it feels. It feels very good. No, I don't do any hunting, but I can and will. Yeah, that's a different skill set. I don't do any hunting, but I can and will. Get me out there. Let's go. But I love the Draco. I love the Draco. It feels very good. And matter of fact, it's a very popular firearm, pistol among gangbangers. It really is because it feels good to shoot. It's just loud, but that's because of the ballistics of the round and, the short barrel and stuff like that. But it feels good to shoot. It really does. In fact, if you go on my TikTok page, same thing. Yes, Mike said it. You'll see, and I think even on my YouTube page too, Instructor Mike, you'll see that I've had little ladies shooting the Draco. Yeah, and I have to tell them, look, it feels great if you could just get over the sound. Don't let the sound be the thing that keeps you captive. Caught that from Man on Fire, but it's a real thing. It's a real, thing. Don't let the sound be what bothers you. Once you feel it, it'll feel good. Pop. Oh, it does feel good. Now I got them walking with the Draco, turning around, all kinds of stuff. It feels great. In fact, my daughter, she hasn't shot, my 11-year-old daughter, she hasn't shot a Draco, but she has shot, a pistol variant, not that Draco, but they have one that's a 9mm. Okay. She shot that, and just getting her up to that just to deal with the sound, just a little bit. She's been on the range and has heard the sound of it, so she's not affected by the sound. So that'll probably be the next thing I'll have her shooting, but she could shoot very well. If you want to see her shoot, again, go to my TikTok page. Yes, Mike said it. If you got TikTok, close to Jesus Christ. Here we go. Rod, the Draco and AR pistols may be dead in the water soon if the ATF gets its way. Yeah. That's a sad thing. Damn. It was a nice run while we had it, wasn't it? Well, I guess you better go back to shit. Guess we better go back to using the pistol. That's why I like the Roni. I love the Roni because it is still a pistol. It's still an actual pistol. It's just an attachment that sits on top of it, but it's still an actual pistol. Like the operation of it, it's a Glock. It just has an attachment on the top of it. That's why I like that. So, yeah, okay. So Nelly asked the question, what's up, bro? What do you think about Ice Cube's black contract with America? We've been talking guns. I shouts out to Ice Cube. Look, some people won't even go sit their ass at the table. Some people won't even go sit their ass at the table with the person they don't like to try to get anything. The minute someone goes and sits at the table with someone that everybody else don't like, then this person just they come down on you. I'm not mad at Ice Cube attempting to do something. That it's just my opinion. Look, shouts out to Ice Cube. I'm glad he did something, and I'm glad he has the ability to still be able to survive. Half of the people talking about Ice Cube probably ain't even got Ice Cube's money. Haven't given an opportunity to anybody else to do anything, but you got a fucking comment about somebody. Come on now. All right, I'm gone from that because I was talking about guns. I was excited. I ain't trying to get pissed off again. Fuck that. Moving on. Do I like the revolver? Yes, I do. And no, I don't. The revolver is good. I've had it as a backup. I still have the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 38, rated at plus P, but it has a 2-inch barrel. So because it has a 2-inch barrel, it's a lot of felt recoil. You're going to feel all that recoil in your hand when you shoot it. And then when you're talking about shooting it fast under stress, right, you're going to feel it all in your hand. So if you don't have good dexterity, if your wrist, forearms and things like that are weak, you're going to feel that all in your hand. And so how many speed loaders do you have on you? What are speed loaders? Those are little plastic clips. Then they can actually be called clips. Those are little plastic circular clips that allow you to be able to set the rounds, based upon how many cylinders. Not the cylinder, I'm sorry. Chambers, I'm sorry. My terminology is getting messed up. Based upon how many chambers you have within that cylinder. And you got to make sure because there are 5, 6, 8, and I think, 5, 6, and 8 from what I understand, chambers. 8 is typically your 22 caliber revolvers, but you have to make sure you have the right speed loaders for the right chamber that you have in that cylinder, in that revolver. And they are specific. How many speed loaders are you going to have? Do you have holders for your speed loaders? Things like that. Can you reload it under stress? If you haven't practiced those things, right, you're going to have some issues. Typically, you get revolvers recommended to females by sexist guys. Guys who have not the ability to be able to teach their lady or whomever how to use a firearm properly. Plus, you only have 5 or 6 rounds. Definitely not 8 because you're probably not going to carry a 22 caliber revolver in a self-defense situation, but let's just say you got 8, whatever. You only have 5 or 6 rounds. Even if you shot 5 times, you don't know if all 5 rounds or all 5 bullets hit. Then you also don't know if those 5 bullets did hit, if they hit the critical areas that would accelerate that threat in stopping. Those are the things you don't know. And because you don't know those things, why would you limit your possibilities of the thing, or why would you limit, in essence, the tools that you need to provide that continuous stopping stimulant to that thing that is moving towards you at a rapid rate? Why would you do that? So that's why I'm not a fan of the revolver, okay? Kenneth Steele, you asked the question. I got your question, Eugene McIntosh. Kenneth Steele, you asked the question, have I ever fired the judge? I know what you meant. No, I haven't. Same concept. I could fire it, sure, but it's the same concept. It's a bigger gun, in essence. Does it have the ability to stop? For sure, it's a bigger round. But remember, the laws of physics, small barrel, transfer of energy, right? You're going to feel it all in your hands. If you're feeling it all in your hands, the continuous press of that trigger, and then do you have speed loaders for the judge? Or do you have to dig into your pocket and be able to try to grab it, load it up with each chamber? Those are the things that I think about. Okay, shouts out to T. Renee for the 100 stars. Appreciate that. You said, I'm 36 years old, and I've been to jail, not prison, though. No record, just all traffic tickets. Get all that stuff expunged if you can. I don't know if you can get traffic tickets expunged. I know, but other parts of other records you actually can get expunged. I just want to say shouts out to, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I've been so into guns and so into other stuff. I have not sent a shout out to Nidra Williams. She is just absolutely amazing from Solo Beauty Supply, 81. It's about the 8200 block on the corner of 8200 South Cottage Grove. Black owned beauty supply. She's carrying my books. She's carrying my books. So if you want to buy What I Tell Myself First, What I Tell Myself About Talent, Self-Protection, Stuck in Fuck, that's an adult book, not a child's book. Don't give your kids that to read unless you're ready to hear some fucks being shouted around the house because they read it. But Stuck in Fuck is there. Mommy, Daddy, Please Teach Me. Support yourself by buying those books, because those are the things, when you read it to your children, those are going to assist along with you in those conversations that could assist in breaking these generational traumas. It starts with something so small. So again, Solo Beauty Supplies, I want to send a shout out to her. Desmond, how do you start to train to shoot your firearm with the other hand? I'm right-handed, but I want to start training with my left. That's a great question. Great question. I'm going to give you a drill. It starts with small things. This is a drill called Catch the Fist, okay? So if you're watching, obviously, put the phone down where you can, set it up and still see if you're not already doing that, and make a, you're on your way? Good. Here we go. So just make a fist with your thumb up, just like this. And you want to make sure that your fingers are curled into your palm, just like this. Now, what you want to do is, this is your strong hand. This is going to resemble you holding that gun in your hand with your thumb up. Because if you had that gun in your hand, it would be just like that with your thumb up and your trigger finger out this way, okay? So take your hand right here and just drive it into your palm and simply just catch with all 4 fingers and your thumb. Catch right here, the fist. Catch the fist. I'll get to your question, Steph. Catch the fist. Then just switch up. Now we're going with your left hand. I don't use right or left. I just use strong and support. So catch the fist. 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 And what you're doing is, when you're catching, when you're saying the fist, you're locking down that other hand with your thumb. Okay? Catch the fist. Catch the fist. Catch the fist. And so it's repetitive, but just something like this at work, okay? You'll start to strengthen your forearms. You'll start to get your hand used to the dexterity and the strength that you need to successfully grab that gun with the same amount of strength you would with the hand that you normally use, your dominant hand. And that's a wonderful question, because in combat, or in a real situation, when that dominant hand goes down, guess what? You have 2 for a reason. Okay, so you're going to have to compensate. So you need to strengthen this other hand. Okay, catch the fist. Catch the fist. Catch the fist. Catch the fist. It starts with small things. Catch the fist. And you'll start to see the dexterity and the strength in your forearms and your wrist and your hand, the little muscles in your fingers and stuff like that. You'll start to see they will strengthen up over time. Just do this. Start doing this daily. Then, when you do get to your firearm, you can start to transition. Make sure you assume all firearms are loaded. Point that firearm in a safe direction. Keep your finger off the trigger. Make sure that you have no ammunition in the area when you are doing these things, okay? Make sure that, when you pick up your firearm, keep your finger off the trigger and index along the frame, okay? And then just practice transitioning. Just practice transitioning. Practice transitioning. Practice transitioning, okay? That's how you begin to strengthen the hands first before you start to shoot. T. Mimi Michelle, what's going on? Yes, catch the fist. You really should go to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike. I've got a bunch of stuff that's on there that you can continue to practice. I'm telling you, it's not enough to just get a gun. The total skills of what you need, and even more to continue, it starts with these small little building blocks that lead to bigger things. You have a brick that turns into a room, the room that turns into other rooms, the rooms and hallways and bathrooms that turn into part of the house. You get it, right? So it's not just we just dropped into a house. There are things that need to get built first. When do you recommend shooting with one arm? And I got your other question, Steph, too. When do you recommend shooting with one arm? That's not really a when do you recommend. The situation is going to dictate that. It could be a situation where you have to spontaneously just grab that firearm and present that firearm to that threat and shoot. The spontaneous combustion, in essence, of a situation you may not have anticipated could have, forced you into the situation where the rapid need to stop that threat forces you into a one-arm situation. But most situations, especially if you are able to walk into it, you're probably going to use 2 hands, okay? If you're able to walk into it. who walks into situations. Police officers, security officers, maybe you're, walking around trying to clear your house in the event you think someone has broken in. That's walking into the situation. Most people happen upon the situation. In other words, something spontaneously happens and you find yourself having to make an evasive maneuver to get out of there, or a defensive maneuver to offensively defend yourself by stopping that threat first. So the situation is going to dictate, in essence, whether you use one hand or two. The address, Randy has been asking for this address so long, my bad. 644 East 79th Street, 644 East 79th Street, which is 79th and Champlain. So that's the training address. I got a class tomorrow. I got seats, okay? It's $150. You're able to walk in. It's not filled. I do have seats available if you want to attend the class, okay? Or even, this is what I've had too. I've had people who have taken concealed carry classes and feel like they have not gotten enough training. And that's okay. Nothing against their instructor. I've already said what I said about that. Whatever. I don't spend my time talking about what this instructor did not do, because that does nothing for my brand. It's my time for me to show you what you need to survive. None of us instructors are going to be there. You have to be able to do for you. And that's what I focus on. If you got work to do, who has time to whoop ass? Until it's time to whoop ass, and that is work or play, depending upon what you think and how you think. It's almost time for the show to end. Oh, sad face. I'm talking about guns. We'll continue this conversation a little bit later. I got a few more things to talk about now, but we're going to continue this gun conversation more, because the people need to be educated regardless of who you are. Like if you're dealing with one or two individuals, Steph, same thing. The situation is going to dictate. If you're dealing with two or more individuals, it depends on what those individuals are doing. It depends on the distance. There's a tactic that I talk about, which is SLOT, right? Yourself, the subjects, the law, the location, the tools, tactics, and time, or obstacles, tools, tactics, and time, things like that. So it just depends. Now, Steph asked another question. I love these questions, Steph. How would you handle a drive-by hitting the deck, then shooting at the same time? Where are you when this drive-by occurs? That's another question. Are you in a vehicle? Because you're not hitting no deck. If you're in a vehicle, you might want to do evasive maneuvers if you're able to get out of there. Evasion for a percentage of situations is probably better than trying to stand there and return fire. Now, if you're not in a car and you hear shots fired, one of the things that gets people killed is standing there and trying to look in the direction where the shots came from, because humans are nosy as fuck. You want to know where the shit came from. And so you're standing there looking. Meanwhile, the bullet is already almost to you if it has already not hit you. The first thing that we learned in the military, okay, if the shots, as soon as you hear the shot, drop to the ground. Then once you drop to the ground, you're able to, if you're able to, try the best you can to assess where that gunfire is coming from after you get to some sort of cover or concealment, right? That's the very first thing you should do. So I don't know if I want to drop and then, or hit the deck and then shoot at the same time, because that may be what you want to do, but are you in the location and do you have the time to be able to pull that firearm and then shoot? What are you shooting at? You don't even know where the shots came from. Those are things to consider. So I don't know if hitting the deck and shooting at the same time is to your advantage. Definitely hitting the deck is, because it's harder to hit a threat on the ground that's lying flat on the ground unless you're shooting from a higher platform and you know where that person is on the ground, right? So like I said, first thing that's better to do is hit the deck. It's also better to learn how to, do combat, first aid, whatever the case may be. In other words, if a person is shot, you know how to, plug that hole, whatever the case may be, fill that hole with, clotting materials and stuff like that. These are things that unfortunately you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn those things. Yeah, that only happens in the movies where you're, hitting the deck and shooting at the same time. Why? Because it's written in the script. And then the last question, and then we're going to end today, and then we'll bring back up guns next week. But how about the vest? I want you to understand it is not illegal for you to own a ballistic vest. It is not. In fact, I have 3 of them. One is a plate carrier that deals with rifles, and then 2 others that deal with small arms. Do I wear a vest daily? No, I don't. But I do have one nearby. Where I could just strap on that vest in the event something happens, with my bug out bag, stuff like that. I try to stay ready as much as I can. So these are the fastest 2 hours. Yeah, this was the fastest 2 hours. Here we go. So, do I wear my vest? No, I don't wear my vest daily, but I do have one nearby. Last thing, it is not illegal for you to wear a vest unless you're committing a crime and in possession of that vest at the same time. If you're committing a crime and in possession of that vest, that's what makes the possession of that vest illegal. But if you're not doing that, you're fine to wear it and you're fine to possess it. Now, are you going to run into some problems with law enforcement? It depends on which officer you get. Not every police officer knows the law. Sorry, hate to say it, guys. It's the truth, okay? No problem, Renee. I appreciate that. Here we go. What time does the class start? It starts at 8 o'clock. So for those of y'all interested in getting into a concealed carry class, I have one tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow and Sunday. Shouts out to Sonia. She's amazing. She provides that background. Yeah. Yes, she provides that background. It's great. But it's tomorrow and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cost is $150. You can walk in the door and pay. I do have seats available until next week. This has been a great show.
Okay, so I could walk in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
No, it's walk in tomorrow. It's Saturday and Sunday, not Saturday or Sunday.
What day is it? Thursday.
This is don't do it tomorrow. Don't do it tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm losing track of what days it is. It's not tomorrow. It's Saturday. It's Saturday and Sunday. Yes. So you could walk. You could pay before Saturday, or you could walk in on Saturday and pay when you get there. I do have seats available. And so make sure you get to somebody's concealed carry class. 773-372-3929. 773-372-3929. You can text me, make the reservation. $50 today. Buy one of my kids' books, so you can only pay $75 when you come in, stuff like that. If you want more information, you can check me out on TikTok. Yes, Mike said it. Instagram. Yes, Mike said it. Give me a call. All that great stuff. We got to get out of here. Next show's coming up, The Bigs. Go ahead. Sure. As long as it's you doing it. Go ahead.
The address. I did not write it down.
Sure. I'm so sorry. 644 East 79th Street. 644 East 79th Street, which is right between Champlain and Langley. Get your ass in somebody's concealed carry class. It's no one's job to protect you but you. This is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Until next time, next week, we will see you. We're out.